Oh, hey, Ian. It must be Wednesday,
It must be.
because here we are, live on YouTube with a new episode of Blank as a Fart.
Blank.
Welcome to the show, everybody. Blank. Yeah, Ian's drawn a big blank on this episode, isn't he? Oof. Well, we are headed pell-mell toward the finale, everyone. We are on the third to last episode of the series, the original series, and lots of monologuing, lots of setup, lots of
Weird shit.
little bit of weird shit here and there, a little bit of unsettling shit, but
Or
yeah,
dumb shit, I should
um,
say.
some dumb shit. Not all dumb shit though,
Gabe,
but you know,
I'm a virgin.
right here, right now.
Right now. Anyway. It is your plane.
Well, thank God for that.
Anyway. Oh my God.
Yeah. Oh, it was a different time, wasn't it, folks? Yeah, I'm starting. It's perspective is a hell of a thing. But we digress. Thanks
Do we?
again for joining us, everyone. Episode, what number are we on? 28. This must be
28.
28. So, yeah, well over 6 or 7 months of this. Thank you all for.
Episode 20 of season 2.
That's right.
The Path to the Black Lodge.
The Path to the Black Lodge. Pretty apt title. Bit of a giveaway, but I think we all knew it was coming, especially those of us that watched the show 30 years ago. Apologies in advance, folks. I am suffering from a little bit of a cold recently, so my voice is going to be a little off. I may be coughing a little bit more than usual. Hope you all are forgiving me.
Forgiven.
Forgiven. I know Ian forgives me. Are we going to forgive Ian for his new angle, everybody?
Nope.
We can't even see your face.
Well, I'm sorry. I'm trying to post the thing into Discord, and for some reason it keeps as I copy the YouTube page, it keeps copying this other page that is not what I wanted. It's like, what? All right, there it is.
There
All
it
right,
is.
Sorry.
He's hard at work, folks.
Sorry. I was just doing some work.
Just doing some work in between skydiving incidents.
All right.
You all know the socials. Blank as a fart everywhere except Gmail. That's blankasafartpod@gmail.com. You know where all the podcast apps are. You know where to find us. You know where all the old episodes are if you haven't caught up yet. If you have, thanks for going on the whole ride with us. We appreciate you all.
You too, Aunt Linda.
Aunt Linda, hope you're doing well. Hope you're healing up. Looking forward to seeing you at Christmas.
Just gonna shout her out every time.
Hey, that's great. I'm sure she'll love it. All right, we ready to dive into exposition and affirmation?
I guess so.
That's my title for this episode.
Oh, is it? Nice.
Because that's what it is.
I got my streaming goggles on.
Streaming goggles. Okay.
Just
Yeah.
to block all the bullshit. Keep it out of my eyes.
You better put them on soon. All right. So this episode begins with a tight close-up of the face of Earl's latest victim. That's our pal, Ted Raimi. Still embedded in the giant chess piece.
They seem to be having fun with that.
We do. He must like his facial expressions.
Just like bouncing him around inside the pawn.
Yeah, the dead rocker is quite literally rocking now as a large group of law enforcement officials tilt the pawn back and forth to try and pick it up. It takes 8 of them to carry it out of the gazebo. You kind of wonder how Earl and Leo got it in there by themselves. Or did he hire a delivery company to put it there?
Just Leo. Leo's strong.
Leo's strong. He's got that freakish mutant strength now that he's got the intellect of a stegosaurus. As these buffoons comically try to ram the giant pawn into the ambulance, which it obviously will not fit in stark contrast to the dark and moody tone of the background music, Cooper interviews a friend of the victim who identifies him as Rusty Tomasky. The friend, who was a roadie for Rusty's band, tells how their van broke down in the area on the way to a gig, and Earl appeared out of nowhere to offer them help and beer. The kid gets emotional as he discusses the future they had planned, and true to his character, Andy busts out bawling right behind him. As Andy leads the kid away, Cooper again remarks on how Earl is no longer playing by the rules while the sounds of a chainsaw swell in the background.
No, 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 Gabe. More chess metaphor. He's taken another pawn, but he's not but he's playing off the board now, or some bullshit chess metaphor.
No, you nailed it. That's exactly what he said. I wasn't gonna word for word that because
I was just like
chess metaphors.
But it does look like the chess that's coming to an end. Like in this episode,
I think Earl puts a
he kind of wipes the
pretty firm exclamation point
right.
on that.
So it's like, thank God. But
yeah.
Anyway.
Aside from the whole, the concept of the queen, but that's applicable to a lot of other
cards and all kinds of things.
Yeah.
I was kind of like, when I was watching this scene, I was like, is Andy crying? Like watching it, like in the background, he's kind of like, it's like, what's going on back there? Because at first it's kind of like,
to be honest, I got funny. A little, I felt the pathos in this one. Like
probably the best acting of anybody ever.
This
kid.
I neglected to look up the actor who played the witness here, but yeah, he seemed genuine. Like you believed this story.
Yeah,
he was good.
Ted Raimi could only dream of being that good,
he found his niche, comic relief. The next morning at the sheriff's station, Harry and Cooper greet Lucy at her desk as they arrive with Andy in tow. Lucy lets them know that Hawk and a sad-looking visitor are waiting for Harry in his office before stopping Andy to let him know that 24 hours from now, she will be choosing the father of her baby. In a culmination of another long-running storyline.
Also, donuts in tow.
Yes.
On my TV, I couldn't read. Maybe you could read it in the 4K because I only have it in HD. But the logo looks like Dunkin' Donuts, but it's not, and I couldn't read what it said.
I didn't take note of it.
Didn't even take note.
Didn't even. But might be worth looking into someday.
It's probably like something stupid.
Something here, or it may be a local brand. Who knows?
Or maybe it's actually Dunkin' Donuts.
It's something I didn't go back on and check the lore, but we never find out who the sheriff's sad visitor is. We never come back to that one. So I don't know what that was all about. Maybe that was a tease for season 3 that was never come to pass, or who knows. Much like some other plot points we'll get to later. Let's see. Lucy intends to enter the Miss Twin Peaks pageant to hopefully earn her and the little bun in the oven a little financial kickstart, and asks Andy his advice on the best ways to save the planet. He responds with some sage wisdom about beer cans in the fishing pond and styrofoam, which never dies.
Just felt how
Good
stupid.
I
know, but it's like, I feel like that's the stuff we were learning back then in the 90s or the late 80s.
That was that was the general elementary school approach to environmentalism in those days.
It just felt like if they had kids, that was what their kids would say, and I don't know, it seemed weird.
Oh, Andy and Lucy's kids.
They're going to be smarter than them. Let's be honest. That's how it's going to be.
You would think so.
Oh, in the return, not so much? Oh.
I'll give you a small spoiler. We do get to see
the
Andy
Spawn?
and Lucy's child all grown up in the return. That's all I'm going to say. That's the one spoiler I'm going to give you for the return. I will add that you'll probably hate every second of it, too.
Do you?
No, I don't. I'm not sure I understood it, but I was amused by it, if nothing else.
All right.
We're getting way ahead of ourselves.
Carry on, my good sir.
Way ahead.
We're trying to make this episode more entertaining than it was. Come on, Gabe.
Yeah. We're trying to pad this one with some laughs. In the lobby of the Great Northern, John Justice Wheeler anxiously inquires the concierge about Audrey, who has yet to return from Seattle. Unfortunately, it appears that Jack has run out of time to wait as he asks for someone to go up and grab his bag for him. A lot of quick scenes in this episode, I noticed, especially whereas the Great Northern is concerned.
Right.
We dip in, we dip out, happens real fast, and that's not something we've seen a lot of.
Right.
I wonder if that's the directing touch of Caleb Deschanel, who makes his one and done with this one.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Did we skip over? Wasn't there a really quick scene in the beginning where the old lady eating pie, or is that coming up?
That has yet to happen.
Oh, okay, sorry. For some reason, I thought that happened way off the top, but
nope, that doesn't happen until we make our first visit to the Double R, which is a little ways off.
Okay.
Excuse me. In his office, a shirtless Ben Horn is receiving a routine physical for insurance purposes from Doc Hayward. That's awkward. I think he might literally be the only doctor in town.
I know, but then as I'm watching this is only happening because they want to get these two guys together to talk about this other thing.
Right.
So dumb.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of contrived, but you saw a lot of that in television in this day and age. I've got another point to make of that later. Ben does his best to convince Will that his motivations are pure, but then selfishly refuses to leave Eileen and the rest of the Hayward family alone as long as, quote, the lie persists. Doc rightfully points out that it's not quite that simple and no good comes from ruining lives, but his arguments do not appear to sway Ben from his intended course of action, which we're still not sure what that is.
It genuinely seems like he's trying to be good, though.
Yeah, and I get where they're going with this, like the missive that Jack left with him, which is tell the hardest truth first.
Right.
What is the hardest truth in Ben's life? Uh-oh. Looks like we found it. But again, like this is it's good and evil is not a binary choice all of the time. There are a lot of gray areas involved, and
which is funny, but the whole premise of the show is the binary good and evil of the Black Lodge, the White Lodge, like this very.
I wouldn't say that's all of it.
It's kind of what the show is about. Like it, I don't know.
I'd say there's room to explore both sides of that.
Cooper is pretty much good. He does very little bad, and the guys he goes up against are not.
Wife.
I mean, sure, that was in his past, but during Twin Peaks,
again,
he
that's
hasn't.
A flaw in his character.
Yes, but in Twin Peaks, he has done not much bad.
Fair, it's a mistake he's learned from, but he's not without. I hesitate to say blood on his hands because that's a dramatic metaphor, but he is not without sin. Let's say.
I will say that this episode felt the most David Lynch to me.
For a non-David Lynch
for a non-David Lynch episode, it did feel very David Lynch, but
yeah, there was a lot of ominous music under scenes of comedy, which was a weird contrast. A lot of darkness combined with levity, but with darkness seeming to kind of like overpower it in the sensory aspect, as opposed to the levity being in the dialogue, which, excuse me, it's kind of weird. It's like you're not sure which senses to trust.
Right.
So yeah, you're not sure what you should think of this scene. Like, is this scene, should we be enjoying this or should this worry us?
No, I get that. I feel that.
But the scene in the beginning with like the crew trying to ram the pawn into that just seemed like something that Sherilyn Fenn had discussed in the interview that we talked about last week, where like people are just trying to do weird stuff for the sake of being weird, and it didn't really fit with the rest of the show.
I don't know about that.
It felt shoehorned to me. Because it was just so silly, like
Hmm.
so over the top silly. Like, are you really going to try and just shove this whole fucking thing into an ambulance? Like, come on. Like, they wouldn't have even moved it like that. They would have cut the body out of it. It's a minor, oh, excuse me, a minor beef of mine. But I didn't like that particular scene so much. Where are we? Ah, yes. Ben and Will's conversation is cut short with Jack's arrival. He and the doctor briefly exchange pleasantries before Will advises Ben to, quote, be careful on his way out the door. Jack gets right to the point. He's trying to find Audrey before he leaves. Ben doesn't seem to understand the urgency until Jack informs him that his business partner has been murdered.
Which just seems so out of fucking life. Like, what the
I'm thinking this was supposed to be breadcrumbs for season 3.
Oh.
This
Gotcha.
was something that this would have been an Audrey story. She would have had her own plot line where she like maybe followed him to Brazil to like help him solve his own mystery and like because that's what she wanted to do when she
Right.
was talking to Cooper. She was like all excited about. So yeah, I kind of foresee like, and I am completely speculating here. This is all off the top of my head, but that's kind of what I envision with these lines being dropped here.
Is this
Is that
the last time we see old Billy Zane?
this is yes,
Yeah.
this is Bally Zane's last appearance in the OG series.
Is he in the return?
Do you want me to answer that?
Oh, he is, baby. No, I don't need you to answer it. You know what? I am excited to see this show. That's how many years later?
25 years.
25 years later, just to see what kind of
Well,
craziness.
not exactly,
but
give
right.
or take.
Like to see the craziness that is packed into it and what callbacks are made. Like, because, but I'm also, there's a lot riding on this one, Gabe. Like, if I hate this, I mean, you're gonna owe me like servitude. Like
I mean, if you hate this, all we're gonna do is let you pick the next show we watch for our next series.
Anyway,
that just means I don't ever get to pick the show again.
We're gonna watch the
until
OC.
Westworld. I swear to God, we're gonna do Westworld. That's gonna be fun.
I don't want to watch Westworld. I've seen some of it. It does not interest me. We can watch the movie, but
I'll wear you down on that. It took me how long? 10 years to wear you down on Twin Peaks?
I'll be dead by the time you wear me down on Westworld. All right.
Anyway, in the cluttered attic of the Hayward home, Donna is poking around some painful old memories. She finds a copy of her birth certificate, which, has no father listed. I also note that mother's maiden name is listed as Eileen Hayward, which is her married name. So I don't know if that's accidental or if that's supposed to be part of the plot too, but said birth certificate is side by side with some old pictures of her parents partying with Ben Horne in the 70s. These are some really good fake photos. Like, these don't look photoshopped at all.
Oh no, they look like obviously they obviously took them, right?
Yeah. I mean, they look like they were taken with like an 80s camera. It must have just been really good makeup.
I mean, I still had a Polaroid camera back then. It still worked, and you can still buy Polaroid. So
yeah, but like I say, the makeup is fantastic.
A lot of them are also costumes. It looks like one he's like covered in some kind of.
Yeah, one is supposed to be like Halloween,
and one is like he's like covered in dirt or something. So
yeah,
so
I think he's like a scarecrow, something like that.
Some other things anyway.
But yeah, some wild looks there. The doc is sporting an impressive pair of ginger mutton chops, and Ben Horne has one hell of a John Holmes mustache. Donna's gets, what the hell did voice text do to this? That is mangled.
Donna gargles a cock and then goes upstairs.
She's called down by her mother. Let's just say that.
I think she's called
who
up,
lets
right?
her know that. No, because she's in the attic.
Oh, I thought she was in the basement.
No. The fan. The angled roof.
I didn't even notice that.
Definitely
dude.
an attic.
For some reason, I didn't even pay attention to that. I've tuned out.
But you were focused on the logo on the donuts box.
It's all I'm saying, Gabe, is there's certain things I'm tuned into. Selective details. It doesn't matter if she's in the attic or the basement. This is unnecessary. She's just looking for. It would have been better if she was like digging through her mom's closet. Oh well. Anyway.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Anyway,
Aunt Linda, you might be wondering why my opinion matters. No.
No, you gotta. Now you gotta.
I don't have it on. I just thought about that, and then I don't even have it on. I know.
Oh, dude. Cock tease.
I should just get it and have it right here.
Like, yeah, you should just put it in place of Stitch there. It should just be in the shot. In the slightly soft, out of focus shot.
Yes, yeah, I know.
That is the professional podcast look.
Right. Maybe next time. You hear that, Stitch?
Maybe next time.
You're out of here.
One and done, Stitchy. Hawk, excuse me. Sorry, folks. Hawk appears to move fast as right after the phone call, we cut right to him waiting in the Great Northern lobby as Audrey is arriving back from her trip. She barely has time to collect her messages before Hawk lets her know that her presence at the sheriff's station is urgently requested by Agent Cooper. Back in Ben Horn's office, it's becoming increasingly clear that Jack's relocation is about to become a permanent one, as he is expected to replace his murdered partner. Ben is distraught. He doesn't think he can pull off the Stop Ghostwood movement without Jack's help. Wheeler offers encouragement, telling Ben to just be the best that he can, before handing him a letter that he wrote for Audrey and taking his leave.
Aww. Young love.
So I think we touched on this, but did you venture a speculative age for John Justice Wheeler?
Well, I know through our conversation that he's younger than Audrey's. What's her name?
Sherilyn Finn.
Sherilyn Finn. I know that he is younger than her technically, but I don't know. Is he supposed to be about the same age? No, he's older. He's supposed to be older, right?
Yeah, because he remembers seeing her as a little girl.
Oh, yeah. That seems weird.
It's all weird.
I don't know how old he's supposed to be. I have no idea. She is full of energy and peppy as she came busting through that door, though.
Oh, yeah.
Audrey.
Good Audrey episode.
I mean, I don't know if it was good, but she was...
no, up until the end, but...
But... If I was young watching this show, that would be my crush. I mean, we've already had this conversation, but she's awesome.
Multiple times. It's always worth having again, though, because... Damn
you.
That's all we got to say.
Damn you. Anyway.
It's so unfortunate. Yeah.
I could see
people can
change, maybe if I had seen the show back then, Gabe, I would share in the hate of Billy Zane, because then I would have known the truth that he...
I don't think it's Billy Zane's fault that she went red pill, but I don't think we can blame him for that. From what I've understood about Billy Zane as a person, he's really not that bad of a guy.
No. All right.
But anyway, in the conference room, Major Briggs is continuing to conduct research on the petroglyph found in Owl Cave. He provides instructions to one of the bookhouse boys assisting him as Cooper and Harry enter the room. The Major fills them in on some of Earl's history with Project Blue Book, how he was one of the best and brightest before the focus changed from outer space to the woods around Twin Peaks. Outer space, that's a term we don't use very often anymore.
Outer space.
After which point, Earl became increasingly obsessed with his work, eventually being let go from the project once he became violent. He shows Harry and Cooper a video from the archives featuring Earl reporting / lecturing about evil sorcerers known as Dugpaws.
Love it.
How their unyielding pursuit of evil led them to be able to access a place of great power known as the Black Lodge.
This is his best performance is in this clip, this old retro clip. I haven't really been on board with this guy, but I think
You can see like the element of
normalcy. I would like to have seen him. He doesn't. I don't think he does crazy very well. Like I feel like he's just a dude acting crazy, like a normal dude acting crazy. Especially in this one.
It's cartoony.
Yeah,
it's very, very cartoony. It's just it's Skeletor cackling. It's something. Yeah, it's over the top.
And in this episode, it's crazy comical with all the choices we go through. It's like, what?
Yeah, it's like it's Cesar Romero Joker kind of shit,
This wasn't the disguise you were referencing last week, were you?
No.
Oh, okay.
Nope, that is yet to come.
Oh, okay. Thank God. Because I was like, you're got to be shitting me, right? No. Okay. Sorry.
No, you will know it when you see it.
Okay.
Oh, hey, Gary O'Brien just liked our post.
Hey.
He may be listening.
We have a couple people watching us, but
and
I've asked them to ask questions if they'd like, but they haven't really. There is a chat, gentlemen or ladies and gentlemen.
If I know,
chat.
I'm betting at least one of them is a lady. Right, Sarah? All right.
It could be it could be something witch.
Oh.
Nano witch.
Nano witch, yes. Oh, I feel bad for forgetting. Nano witch. She might be in Halloween mode with the kids. Getting to be that time of year. Speaking of Halloween stuff, Black Lodge. Oh. Earl talks of the lodge as if it's some sort of physical, tangible realm that can be reached by humans. After viewing the video, Cooper admits that he had been mistaken all along, assuming that Earl's presence in Twin Peaks was for vengeance only. It seems that everything he's done while he's been there has been a smokescreen all along, trying to obscure his true purpose, finding the Black Lodge.
Oh, also, who's this fucking rock star kid? Like, this is like biker kid that has the files.
The Bookhouse boy?
Yeah, like with this random kid.
Happy?
Yeah, all of a sudden, has he made an appearance before?
I think he might have been the same one who was guarding Truman when he was sleeping off his hangover.
Oh,
I'd have to go back and look, though.
Well, that was a while ago.
I don't know, like, deep dive. I don't know if he's one of the ones that helped James escape from the roadhouse early in season 1. But he's got that look about him.
It's just funny. It's like this here boy with name that doesn't talk. They just give him stuff and he does stuff.
Oh, they give him a name later.
Well, he has a name in this, or they call him something here. I just like
Cooper names him.
He just never he never says anything, and he just
he has no lines.
He's got his biker jacket and
Probably was also worked in the props department or something like that.
James Light.
Cooper assumes that there must be a link between the petroglyph and the Black Lodge because that's what Wyndham Earle believes. He sends Cappy, the Bookhouse boy, to research Dugpaws, while he and Harry revisit the files and suggest that the Major turn in since he's been at it all night. The Major readily agrees, but decides on a walk in the woods to wind down first. I did a little bit of research on Dugpaws, and I should have Googled it before we started here. But if I remember right, there's some basis in reality for this.
Also, I gotta say, like, as soon as they said, "Oh, maybe I'll go for a walk in the forest," it's like, or the woods, it's like, oh shit, come on. We all know something stupid is gonna happen to this guy. Every time he goes into the woods, something fucking stupid happens to this guy. So it's like, don't go in the woods, dude. Maybe just go take a nap, like fucking Coop said.
Right? Yeah. All right. So this is what I've come up with the Theosophy Wiki. Is that a Dugpaw in theosophical literature is a term used generally as a synonym for a black magician or sorcerer, frequently referred to as a brother of the shadow. The origin of the term is not clear. At times, it seems to be used for some sections of the Kagyipu school of Tibetan Buddhism.
You know who needs Buddhism in their life?
Who's that?
Justin Burton. Justin Burton
Oh.
needs Buddhism in his life. And you know why I say that? Because he's fucking in the chat right now.
No shit. What's up, Justin? How you been, brother?
He's like, new to this channel, except I've had Milkman Pictures YouTube channel for like half my life, so I don't know why he's new to this channel. But anyway, what's up with this channel name? Do you recommend any other similar shows to Twin Peaks? Dude, no. Yes. Gabe recommends Westworld. All right, moving on.
I wouldn't say that's a show that's similar to Twin Peaks, but I still do recommend Westworld, even if Ian hates it.
I didn't say I hated it. I just like it wasn't my. I was just like, eh.
I don't think you gave it enough of a chance.
I haven't given a lot of things.
Stroke of. We'll discuss later. What a stroke of luck for Earl that they moved the bonsai tree containing his listening device into the conference room.
For a moment there, I forgot about the fucking bonsai tree. It's like, what? Oh, yeah, he's listening. Duh.
I mean, how else would he know where to go find Major Briggs so he can kidnap him?
Exactly.
Right? That is the contrived plot device.
Okay, here's the other contrived weird bullshit thing about that, though. He fucking goes off on them saying that they haven't figured it out yet. He's like kind of making fun of them for not knowing. And yet he doesn't know either. He needs the advice. Like, what?
I mean, I think maybe if you reframe that he's making fun of them for not figuring out until just now that's what he's after.
Oh, maybe.
That's a possibility, but I could see it going either way too. There's some body dialogue all over the place here. I barely listened to him in this episode. It was just too much. Even 2 watch throughs, I couldn't tell you half of what it was he said.
I don't know how you do that, Gabe. I don't know how you do it, man.
Oh,
man, you deserve an award.
You're gonna make me my own little Emmy.
Well, all I'm saying is, like, a lot of people do a lot of podcasts. I don't think anybody who does a Twin Peaks podcast watches the episode twice and takes no. I don't think anyone prepares for a Twin Peaks podcast.
I don't think you've looked at any of the other Twin Peaks material that's available on the internet since like 20 years ago, because it's insane. Okay,
all right.
Like the level of detail people dig into this, like, oh man,
they really want it to be a religion or something, huh? I don't.
It's broad enough where it could go that direction. Like, okay, so one of my favorite Simpsons scenes, and I'm going to digress for a minute here, folks, so bear with me. One of my favorite Simpsons scenes ever is a Treehouse of Horror episode. Topical. It's the one where Lucy Lawless appears. Oh. And so part of this is she's, at a sci-fi convention, and the nerds are peppering her with questions. And in one of them, the nerd is asking her, like, in this episode, blah, 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 in this scene, you are clearly atop a winged Arabian. And then it cuts to a bunch of other nerds all like nodding like we know where he's going with this. But in the very next cut, you are clearly atop a winged Appaloosa. Please explain how this could possibly happen. And her response to this is, oh, yeah, well, anytime you see something like that, a wizard did it. And so, yeah, like I know for a fact that there are like conventions where like, okay, in the book that you released about, Cooper's past, I forget what it's called. It's like The Life and Times of Dale Cooper or something like that. In this chapter, you say that Dale graduated from college in 1978, but in episode 1 of season blah, 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 you clearly state that his diploma came in this year. And like, I can just like read the frustration that Mark Frost or David Lynch must get from these sorts of questions. The level of fandom of Twin Peaks is that obsessive. So I appreciate your compliment, but I am like down the scale.
I'm not making you an award now. I'm just I'll get you some kind of, candy bar. Good job, Gabe, it'll say.
That gum I like is going to come back in style.
There you go. I'll get you a donut.
I still have yet to give you your Twin Peaks themed related birthday gift.
Oh
so.
No.
We'll have to do that. We'll do that presentation
on the commentary of the films.
Yeah, we'll give you all a little preview of that things to come when we get to the end of the episode.
We had a big planning session last week at the end of the show, so
we did, yeah, because we're about to wrap up this first phase here pretty soon, so we've got to plan ahead. Let's see. Speaking of planning ahead. Oh, yeah, this is where I left off in this sentence in my notes. I actually wrote this. God, he rambles on a lot in this scene. Referring to Wyndham Earl. Like, I just tuned out at this point. I was just like, fuck. I know all this already. But while Earl endlessly wanks to the sound of his own voice, he turns his back, which gives Leo the opportunity to swipe the buzzer for his shock collar.
Right, because this is where he wipes the chessboard clean. He's like the end of the chessboard, right?
I think so. If not this one, then the next one. There's a few scenes in the cabin.
I think it's this one. It starts off with that.
Yeah, I didn't make a note of it. But I think it's, he swipes it all away and then throws down the
And that's what makes Leo be like, oh, I can get this. Anyway.
Yeah, well, he's not looking. But...
Right.
And... At the Double R, a random patron is eating a slice of cherry pie when she starts to experience an uncontrollable tremor in her right hand. We quickly move on from this to Shelley and Bobby going over her pageant speech in a booth. After they agree on a tasteful and mature edit to the final line.
Jesus.
Hey.
I know. It is.
Accurate
it is.
statement.
It is 100% that, but at the same time, it's like... It's just so stupid.
It is. And that's a very pretentious way of explaining that scene. But hey, I'm waking off to the sound of my own voice, folks. Bobby starts a sentence with his infamous, "I've been thinking," to which Shelley instantly rolls her eyes along with the rest of the audience. But this time, it's something legitimately different. As Bobby explains that seeing Shelley kissing Gordon Cole instead of sending him into a fit of angry jealousy, actually led him to some serious self-reflection. We don't exactly get an apology here, but Bobby does admit that he's been shitty for the last couple of weeks. How is it that he phrases it? I put on a suit and started thinking I'm better than everybody.
I thought this was great, how he was felt...
You didn't hear a word. I just...
No, it's where he feels threatened by David Lynch. So that's why I went upstairs. I was also feeling threatened by David Lynch, so I thought I'd bring this down.
Clearly. He's upstairs kissing Bryn right now. Take a good look, Sonny. It's going to happen again.
That's right. That's right.
So yeah, I put on a suit and I thought I was better than everybody. He tells Shelley that he loves her and he wants to do right by her, and naturally she instantly forgives him for all his transgressions. This is genuine, though. This is the Bobby we saw when Major Briggs reappears.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And, when he was trying to comfort his mom. We know he's capable of this. And this is, this particular season, I think we get, few and far between they are, but we get some good character development for him. And we see him struggling with that notion of the hot-headed, short-tempered 18-year-old douchebag, but we also see elements of maturity and of some of the stuff that he's taken from his father and some of the man that he could become.
It's funny because, they don't really do a good job with any of the kids this season. Like, they're all kind of...
Not really.
But Bobby's kind of given...
comes into her own as
he's given a lot to do, but it's like they still don't know what to do with him, but he gets the most range for some reason, somehow out of that. They keep sticking him places.
He gets amusing, he gets cruel, he gets dumb, he gets honest, He does. He really gets like the broadest range of almost anybody to play with in this show. But it's this scene in particular, I think, is probably one of his best. He seems very genuine here, and he's come a long way from barking like a monkey in the prison cell. So
we got some questions
props
here.
to you, Dana Ashbrook. We do.
More Justin just giving us the chats up here. Is it hard to find Twin Peaks fans? Is there a big fan base out there?
There is. There really is. And they're not shy about it.
I mean, Gabe's a fan.
I'm a fan. I'm happy to admit it.
He's trying to convert me, but I'm not sure that's going to happen.
I wouldn't, I don't know. I mean, you're a Lynch fan already, so there's no harm done in that regard. I don't think you're going to be less of a Lynch fan after this.
And then he says he's going to watch the show, to which I say, good luck, my friend. But I would say, watch an episode and then listen to the first episode of the podcast. Like, do the kind of listen to what, watch and then listen along. And maybe that adventure will help you through.
And then, once we get to the return, we can do it all together.
Yeah, you get through it fast. Anyway. All right, carry on, my good friend.
Only 30 episodes. It won't take that long. The sweet moment between Bobby and Shelley is interrupted when she's called to the phone to speak with Cooper. Look at Cooper interrupting all this important shit this week for a useless conversation.
Yeah, but he gets all the three hotties in a room together.
That's true. The only other person who's accomplished that is Wyndham Earle. Cut to the mayor entering the roadhouse where there's a crew hard at work decorating for the pageant. He meets Lana at the table with great news about the judges panel. It's going to consist of him, Norma, and Dick Tremaine. Menswear. Mayor Milford seems to think that it should be no problem for Lana to seduce Dick and get his vote. A slut from here to Seattle. He pushes Lana to just flee town and elope with him. I think I may have referred to her as his blushing bride at some point, but yeah, they have not officially married at this point.
No.
But apparently the deal is she's not going to marry him until she's won the pageant.
So he has to fix it if he wants to get married.
Poor Mayor Milford. He's what the kids would call a simp. To use
she's just going to kill him with sex when they get married anyway, so it's like
she is like the Black Widow, right?
Yeah. Wasn't that the episode name?
The one where she killed his brother with sex? Yeah. Da-da-da. That is, incidentally, that's my favorite Alice Cooper song.
Oh, there you go.
Well, no, I'm sorry.
The more you know, or the less.
Second favorite, $1 Billion Babies. At the sheriff's station, Cooper is gathered in a room with Earl's three queens to discuss the danger of the situation. They all mention their encounters they had with strangers, aka Earl and his lame disguises. Cooper asks Shelley to take a closer look at the poem, and she quickly recognizes Leo's handwriting. He asks the young ladies to follow a long list of precautionary measures, which include calling into the sheriff's station twice a day to check in. He also lets them know that it's not just them in danger, it's everyone.
That's a common practice by pimps, too. Anyway.
Check in twice a day. 9 a.m. and 9 p.m., bitch. Back at Earl's cabin, Leo is tidying up around the table saw, while Earl rambles on about Doug Paz and Kali worshippers. I just want to mention that the stuff he says about Kali worshippers is all bullshit.
Okay, I had no idea what.
It's stuff. It's a lot. It's all based on like the crap that you get from Indiana Jones, which is really inaccurate. Just wanted to throw that out there. A lot of times Hinduism gets a bad rap. Leo recognizes Shelley's face on one of the queen playing cards and calls out her name. Earl mocks Leo for his wife's infidelity and wonders if he might be willing to help him kill her if she ends up winning the Miss Twin Peaks pageant. Because as we all know, you win the pageant, you die.
You die.
I'm not sure why at this point, but
this and then
he's
this
playing off the board, folks.
Where this scene goes is not where I thought. I was like, you've got to be fucking shitting me. She's like, okay, all right, let's go.
I mean, yeah. Leo seems oddly distraught by the notion of someone besides him harming his wife. So he threatens Earl with the shock buzzer that he had lifted earlier. Poor, sad Leo still does not have the cognitive ability to recognize that it'll only work on the person wearing the collar.
Like what?
That's him.
What? It's like, you got to be fucking shitting me.
I mean, the first time, okay. But he does it like, what, 5 times? I think I counted.
He knows how an arrow, but he knows how the arrow. So in the previous episode, when he tells him to get the arrow, and he knows that the arrow will get shot through the thing and kill the dude, it's not like...
I guess he thought it was a laser, you know?
Wild.
This was just, oh, God. Every time Leo just goes, young Frankenstein. Every time.
And he just kept doing it.
Yeah. Oh,
like,
God.
What?
Like, it's the whole
it's going to change?
Leo doing that.
I don't know. What a choice. What a choice. What a brave choice by the writing crew here.
Earl briefly feigns fear before bursting into hysterical laughter as Leo repeatedly shocks himself. Meanwhile, Audrey has returned to the Great Northern, saying hello to Pete in the lobby and missing Jack by mere seconds. He has exited the elevator shortly after she left the room, and he takes one last look around before he heads out the front door. From that angle, he definitely should have seen her walking down the hall. Audrey heads to her father's office to greet him and ask after Jack's whereabouts. Ben, instead of answering her question, wants to discuss making her the new face of the Stop Ghostwood movement, and has decided that the best way to introduce her as that face is to have her enter the Miss Twin Peaks pageant. She seems amused but not necessarily agreeable to the idea. And finally, after asking her father for a third time, where is Jack, he lets her know that he departed for the airport just a few minutes ago. Audrey rushes out the door, promising to continue the conversation later. After she exits, Ben suddenly turns around, appearing startled, but we don't see what he sees. Another thing we never get any kind of follow-up on. In the lobby, Audrey recruits Pete to drive her to the airport. You got a car?
I got a truck.
I don't know why she picked him over the concierge. Oh, well, he doesn't like her, does he? He was kind of shitty to her that one time.
Plus, it's Pete. Come on, it's funny.
Yeah,
come on.
Pete's.
Also, if you look at the writing and how it goes with how it ends at the end with the fishing, like we already know Pete is about fishing.
Yeah. A trout's leap in the moonlight.
Yeah, dude. Gabe, I'd leap with you in the moonlight any day.
I think we already have.
I think you're right.
More than once.
Probably.
The fact that we don't remember is a pretty good indication.
Definitely thrown up in the moonlight.
More than once. Out in the forest, the Major is still communing with nature, seemingly not fatigued at all, when he is suddenly approached by 2 men in a horse costume.
No, he's approached by a horse.
Sorry. A singing horse. A horse who sings Home on the Range in a pleasant baritone.
Okay, so the thing I didn't get, though, is that he touches the tree, then he touches the thing on his neck, the symbol on his neck, as if he's being warned. He turns around, and then there's a dude in a horse costume. Come on, dude.
I think you may have interpreted that very well.
I'm like, dude, what? Dude,
there are spirits in the trees.
Right. And then something's
He's more
happening.
in tune
It's like,
with them because of his
dude,
mark.
if some motherfuckers walked up behind me in a fucking horse costume, I am not gonna just sit there. Like, what?
Remember, he's been up all night.
Oh
So
my
maybe this is
God,
where the
Gabe!
fatigue is
Come
showing.
on, he's military.
He is military, so maybe he's trying to convince himself he's hallucinating because he hasn't slept. For
Now he's being
30
told by the
hours.
spirits, like, oh, trust the horse.
I don't think they told him trust the horse. The horse greets the major with a hearty "Hello, Wilbur," before firing a tranquilizer dart into his chest. As the major collapses to the ground, he removes the horse mask to reveal himself as Jackie Chan. No, I'm sorry, that's Wyndham Earl.
Reunion, Mr. Briggs.
Oh, yeah.
Reunion.
Briggsy, he calls him.
Briggsy, yeah.
I really think that Kenneth Welsh took a lot of Wyndham Earl from Jack Nicholson's Joker.
That's an opinion. That's an opinion you have? Yes. I don't know what he takes any of it from.
Just the manic energy and the flippant way he addresses his enemies.
Maybe.
And this is what triggered that thought, is I just had this picture in my head of when Jack Nicholson Joker refers to him as Batsy.
I mean, did you see Tommy Lee Jones in Under Siege? I mean,
no,
I
just remember the trailer. This is not the work of a cook.
That's right, baby. It's a great movie.
I mean, it's. Are we nearing like Willem Dafoe and Speed 2 levels, or?
That's what I'm talking about. Like, he doesn't. The problem with that comparison, Gabe, is that Jack Nicholson choose the scenery, and you want to watch it. This, when he chooses a scene, it's like I'm like, you already talked about it. You tuned out. It's like you don't want to watch it. You're not interested. So I can't compare it to the greatness that is Jack Nicholson.
See,
okay, maybe inspiration. Maybe
I'm saying I see.
He took the inspiration.
Borrowing.
I'm going to do this.
Yes,
it did not work.
He saw the movie.
I see
like right before. He's like, I'm going to take this elements of this character and throw it into my criminal mastermind.
Gotcha. Inspired by, but ended up like Tommy Lee Jones in Under Siege.
Right. Yeah. Tried this, ended up here.
Sorry. That is my failure.
We are of the same wavelength.
I'm not listening properly. I apologize. My active listening failed me right there.
That's all right.
It's not.
I'll forgive you.
I hope so. I hope so. This is a funny episode, ladies and gentlemen. This is one of our best. Look at our viewership is like through the roof right now. We have 3 concurrents. We
got 4 people?
We had 4. We have 8. We have 3 right now.
Hey.
We've had, anyway, this might be, waka, waka, waka.
Waka, waka. Where did we leave off? Yes, Jackie Chan. Quick shot of Wheeler boarding his private jet, and we mean quick. Let's like dip in, dip out. That was like 3 seconds, if that. Real quick cut, which is real unusual in this era. Before we head to the Double R, where Annie is removing a ketchup-stained pageant flyer from the counter.
Wait.
As
okay.
Cooper arrives.
I want to actually take that back a bit. I think what she's wiping up is the pie lady's mess. That's how I interpreted that.
It could be.
That's how I interpreted that. Because that's where she was sitting. Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's kind of where she was sitting, and then it looked like pie filling, but
yeah, that is a distinct possibility. And that would, those plates we'll get to that.
Yeah, because it gets there. Yeah,
yeah.
This is this whole sequence.
That's a connection I didn't see.
This whole sequence is very Lynchian.
Yes,
it's sweet, but it has this undertone, and then the long zoom out. It's all very This is like my favorite scene in this
Yeah,
episode.
like
Actually,
the dialogue and the interaction between the characters is
it's all very
like you
weird.
feel like that's designed to warm the heart, but
It's
everything that
conflicted. Yeah.
surrounds it has like this rot that's
Right.
seeping into it. It's like everything that surrounds the two of them has gone sour.
Like
somehow.
this scene is awesome, and it's like, why is not the whole episode like this?
See, these kinds of scenes are the ones that stick with me.
Right.
Like these are the ones that we take away. Like the feeling you get from this scene, that's the feeling I end up associating with this whole series.
I get that.
And after this watch through, I don't understand anymore how that happened.
That happened. Well, because you're new and fresh to it, and so when you saw it,
yeah.
It was like you were in the desert and you were getting some water every once in a while, and then they stick into your brain a lot longer. And then when you start seeing film, then you have a lot of that.
Well,
and then you go back and rewatch this stuff, and you're like, oh, wow. This fed my soul in little increments, but it's not as foundational as I thought it was, you know?
Right. And as we've discussed in previous episodes, I had that odd watching schedule, which was based around my parental custody. So I had big swaths that I never saw that had nothing to stick with me like certain other scenes did.
But this sequence, this scene is incredibly cinematic, and it's like it's the best thing in this episode, and it's just very
100%.
Yeah.
So
talk about it. Tell us what it is.
Let's explain it. Cooper implies that she'd make a great pageant contestant, but she's obviously not ready for something like that just yet. Give her a few hours. As she grabs him his usual coffee, they exchange conversation about how they're mutually distracted by thoughts of each other, and how their attraction is obviously based on their similarities in the way they approach the world. After she wows him with a Heisenberg quote, which I also thought was really apt, he offers to take her out dancing that very same night. I like how she suggested bowling first. I would have gone with bowling myself. He leans in for a kiss, takes a quick peek around to see if anyone's watching, and approaches the kiss again with a little more passion. Some rather dark music underscoring this whole scene of newfound love, which culminates abruptly with a pile of dishes loudly smashing on the floor. We get a close-up of the shattered mess, focusing hard on a single glob of syrup dripping from the edge of one of the broken plates, looking eerily like blood in the light.
All right, so I have a lot of stuff I need to kind of unpack here that I kind of took note of. So back in the office scene, you know, when Coop is like going on about how he's in love with Truman, and then there's like a moment with Coop by himself looking out the window, and he has the handshake. So
did I skip that, or does that not happen?
You might have skipped that. So
I did.
So
I'm sorry. Yeah.
No, you're fine.
Let me cut that in real quick then before you make that thought.
Okay.
Because it's a short paragraph. Back at the sheriff's station, the fellows continue to puzzle over the petroglyph. Harry sends Andy to inquire after the Major's whereabouts, while Cooper peeks out the window, distracted by thoughts of Annie. He draws comparisons between the giddy feelings of puppy love and the onset of malaria. After a second peek through the blinds, Cooper's hand is struck by the same strange tremor that befell the diner at the Double R.
Okay, so then we go to the Double R, and then I make the in my head, I'm making the connection that she's cleaning up the mess by the handshake. So then I kind of was expecting him to have a handshake at some point, like again at the Double R. Okay,
during this scene,
the undertone happens, all this other stuff happens. It doesn't happen. The plates break, the syrup. So I was like, well, then what is the undertone? What is the under? I'm probably wrong. This is not what's going to happen. My fear is that Annie's with Wyndham Earle.
Like that she's a mole?
Like she's a part of it. Now, the way you act shocked is like, I think that's not happening. But I feel like
Well, sorry.
no, I know. No, it's fine. You're by the way you just fucking did that, it's like, okay, that's not happening. But I think that's what I would have done, knowing that Wyndham Earl to really fuck over Coop would it be send somebody that he falls in love with and then well she's with him and then that would really fuck up Coop, I think. And that's how I think that's how I would have taken it. And this scene I think sets that up so beautifully. But the way you answer that, it's not going there. And I don't think the show's going there anyway because it's never been that smart. But I just think
that's a very modern plot.
But I just think like fucking A, man. That's where I would have fucking taken this shit. Anyway.
There's actually a very similar plot in one of the Dune novels.
There's a lot of that's. It's not like a rare thing. I just think like
no, but
this would have been a cool thing to do to him. Like if Wyndham Earl really hates him, I think that is how you get to him. Like that's.
That would.
But Wyndham Earl isn't that as we know. Wyndham Earl is not that good of a villain, and
no.
Anyway,
Wyndham Earl is becoming a '60s Batman villain. This
is my brain. This is my ideal ideas. Anyway, but yeah, I think that scene was so awesome. I was just like, oh, there's got to be some more about it, and it's like, it's her, man. She's the bad part, dude. Anyway.
I just think it's the notion that because Earl knows about their relationship.
I know. Yeah, sure.
But that would be, I agree, that would be an excellent twist. But it's not how it goes down.
I could tell by the way you fucking.
Spoiler alert: Annie is not a bad guy. Meanwhile, Audrey has made it to the airport just in time, directing Pete to cut Jack off in his plane as he's approaching the runway. That's right. Not only does he own his own jet, he fucking flies it himself too. Is this guy a Mary Sue or what?
I was surprised that Pete could just drive up on the runway and just like get out there and be like, no one's gonna fucking flag him down or stop him.
Dude, it's Twin Peaks. There's 5,000 people that live there.
I guess so.
Like the Beaverton Airport, It's for the rich folks.
Somehow I think it'd be difficult for me to just drive up on the runway and stop a plane, but maybe not. Maybe you're right.
Well, I mean, if you were doing it for love.
What's love got to do? With it?
If you were doing it so a high school senior could lose her virginity to a 30-year-old environmentalist
this
mogul.
Is wild. Let's just continue with this.
Audrey and Jack embrace and declare their love for each other. And Audrey decides that Jack really needs to take her virginity before he leaves for Brazil.
God, if I was watching this when I was a child like you, and I'd be like, no, pick me, not him. And yes, Billy Zane would have became my mortal enemy at that young age. I would have understood your hatred of him, Gabe. I would have understood.
You know that David Cross routine where he talks about how the legal age of consent should be changed. I mean, I'm a grown man with skills.
Knowing what I know now, I would have just said, "Oh, go ahead, Billy. Sloppy seconds, buddy."
Right. But anyway,
I'm sorry, Aunt Linda.
That
was very disgusting.
Oh, I don't think she even knows what the term means. If Jack's jets are rocking, don't come a knocking. Watching the young love/lust unfold from a distance, Pete wipes away a couple of tears before the weird hand tremor strikes him as well.
I like how the
thing that Les Claypool used to do into the camera.
Here's what I'm hoping for the hand thing, Gabe, and I'm sure it's going to get explained, but my hope is it doesn't get explained at fucking all. Like, it's just like, they never explain it. Oh, you're smiling. I hope they don't fucking explain it. It's just like, never come, it's just like, that was an idea, but it's just, okay. Next song. That was a shaky hand.
I don't feel bad spoiling this for you. They never explain it.
Oh, that's so awesome. It's so fun. Does it even come up in the next episode?
Nope.
Oh, wow. Wild.
Never
Wild.
mention it again.
Wild.
And I don't feel bad spoiling this for you. There's a hell of a lot of shit in the return that they never explain either.
Well, sure.
A hell of a lot.
But it's wild
and
that it's wild that it shows up in this episode and then it doesn't show up ever again. Is there anybody that does in the return that just does a shaky hand for a second? That'd be hilarious.
No,
that'd be great.
It goes way deper than that.
Oh.
There is a scene in the return that will haunt me for the rest of my life that they never offer any explanation for. It is just like it is. And it comes out of nowhere. It's just madness. And they never delve into it. They never explain it. Unless maybe they say something in the in one of the books later on, but I kind of doubt it. But it's still like it freaks me out.
I just like the idea that like maybe in the return you're just like one like kid that like gets a milkshake and then just like has a shaky moment, and then that's it. And it's just like, oh, it's still happening. It's still happening.
Maybe it's there. But
maybe it's there. We just gotta find it.
Maybe.
Eyes wide open.
Let me make sure I didn't skip a scene. Okay. In his cabin, Wyndham Earle is using his crossbow to play human dartboard with Major Briggs as a means of interrogation. The Major, proud military man that he is, steadfastly refuses to succumb to this form of torture, responding to Earle's queries with the mantra, quote, "I am not at liberty to divulge that information." Accomplishing nothing, Earle decides to resort to a seriously hacky 80s plot device by injecting the Major with what we presume to be sodium pentothal, often incorrectly labeled as truth serum. Sodium pentothal is about as effective as schnapps as a truth serum, folks. But it was all the rage in television and fucking movies, and I remember them using it in a Batman comic at some point where like Batman uses it to force a criminal to tell him the truth. I'm like, fuck.
I'm sure it's been used on Batman.
Maybe.
But he fought it because he's been trained against it.
The most recent presence of that plot device I recall seeing is Kill Bill Volume 2.
I don't remember. When do they use that in that?
At the very end.
They do?
Yeah, during Bill and the bride standoff.
Oh, right. She's just sitting
in
there?
the bar. He shoots her right in the thigh.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Euphoria?
I forgot about that.
No. Yeah.
Like I think about when I think about that, I think about True Lies.
Oh yeah.
And Jamie Lee Curtis is sitting there, and he's going to tell him how he's going to kill him, and it's like, how are you going to do that, and all that stuff, and that works really well. I think it's really funny. It's a great scene.
That's a great scene. I love that scene. Also, probably the best line of the movie is, "Did you ever kill anybody?" Yeah, but they were all bad. That is, I like that scene though. But seriously, like all it does is it kind of it lowers inhibitions. It doesn't prevent you from being able to lie.
Yeah, so if you're a good drunk, you're probably good at it. If you're a shitty drunk, then you know.
There's a similar scene where, like in Frasier's on muscle relaxers when he confesses to Daphne that Niles has been crushing on her for years. But
we all know how that
neither
ended.
Here nor there. Yeah, they got married. Lived happily ever after. Oh, did you not know that? Spoiler.
No, I knew that.
Since this was the early 90s, sodium pentothal still works. And Earle is able to coerce the Major into confessing that his greatest fear is, quote, the possibility that love is not enough.
What a choice. What wordsmith in the writing room chose that? You fucking idiot.
That one, I like that line.
Oh, do you?
I do.
Oh my God.
I can relate to that.
Okay.
Especially in this day and age.
Okay. All right. Love is not enough.
Sorry. I gotta,
Oh, he's gonna get a center. He's gonna start crying. Don't, Gabe. Don't cry.
I'm not gonna cry.
If it bleeds, it leads, though. So let's get those ratings up.
If it bleeds, it leads. Weeps, it keeps. Briggs also divulges that he first saw the Owl Cave petroglyph in a vision he had during his recent disappearance, and tells Earl, quote, "There is a time when Jupiter and Saturn meet that they will receive you." He then begins to spout gibberish before fading out of consciousness, and Earl has Leo haul him off while he ponders this new information. Fun fact, the gibberish that the Major is spouting is actually backwards speaking. That gum you like.
Hence the reference earlier today when I said I would get you a candy bar to reward you for your excellence.
Right, there's that reference. There's also the reference of the denizens of the what we assume is the Black Lodge telling Cooper that gum he likes is going to come back in style.
It's all coming together, Gabe. It's all
connected.
It's all connected.
Blah blah blah. He spouts gibberish before fading out of consciousness, and Earl has Leo haul him off while he ponders this new information. He does seem something I did want to mention is Earl does seem genuinely fascinated by the idea that the Major saw the petroglyph in a vision. Okay. And I mean, he's told Cooper and the sheriff that he believes he's been there, like that during the disappearance he was taken to the lodge. The White Lodge is where he believes he went.
He's a good guy.
But maybe,
it's a force of good.
Here's a theory.
Federal government agents are all good, is what this show's trying to tell us. Guys,
this is
come on, when they come to your door knocking, don't be afraid.
Well, that's not what I'm trying to tell you. But what I am trying to tell you is that heaven and hell might be the same place. It's just the way you interpret it.
Yes.
That's a theory touched upon in Hinduism, and that's a theory also touched upon in the Hellraiser movies.
I would like to say it's also touched upon on Buddhism, that
yes.
Hell is your own self-sacrifice. It's on your what you're going through. Hell is just what you're going through, and then what's her name? Heaven is a place on earth. So really, everything hell and heaven they exist on earth at the same time together. And you just got to figure your shit out and stop being a dick, and everything will be fine.
I like that. And I actually, that doesn't necessarily agree, or it's not the same.
I know.
As the Hindu interpretation, the one I always noticed, which was that the nothingness at the end of life is part of the whole of life. And when you become one with life, you also become one with that nothingness, and you accept that nothingness as part of the whole. And for some, that nothingness is peace. It is the ultimate peace. And for some, the absence of stimuli, or the absence of desire, or the absence of having, of possessing, that's hell. And that's an unenlightened soul. An unenlightened soul doesn't understand the peace of nothingness.
Dude, we just got a crazy fucking comment.
Well, this is a pretty crazy fucking discussion.
Yeah, so. I know. Jamesy the True. What on earth is this podcast, and how did it come up in my feed? Is the guy in green in an underground war bunker? Yeah, I'm in an underground war bunker with my Emmy, and yeah. Hey, Jamesy. How you doing, Jamesy? This is a Twin Peaks podcast. So
if
you can't hang out with us, then you can we're just talking about Twin Peaks, bro. Are you talking about Twin
and
Peaks?
Also, the peace of nothingness.
The peace of nothingness, and beer, and the high life, and the
not necessarily nothingness, but no thing.
No thing.
The absence of things
is heaven for some, and the absence of no things is hell for others. Is basically that's what we're trying to distill in this conversation. Basically,
heaven and hell are the same.
If the fart doesn't stink, it's heaven for the person that doesn't have to smell it. But for the person who farted the blank fart, it's hell because they wanted to stink out the other person. So blank as a fart is in a phrase is all of that. It encapsulates all of that.
Or how a person's own farts can be interpreted as heaven for themselves, but hell for other people.
He's recommending books now.
Jamesy is?
I recommend the Wayne Dyer book, The Power of Intention. I don't know what that is. I don't read.
Can we ask why you recommend this book?
Yeah, why do you recommend that book? And then HB Prime says, damn. I don't know.
Does it relate to our discussion?
We have all these people just now commenting. Anyway, we should just carry on with the show.
We probably should.
Where are we at?
Because we're, we are philosophizing here, folks.
Just Twin Peaks, guys. Just a show in the 90s, 80s, 89, 90s.
But here we go. Hey, everybody. Andrew Packard's back.
Oh, boy.
Where's he been? Recruiting foreign investors, I guess. But it seems he's turned up to help Catherine try and solve this lame-ass puzzle box that Joan left him after Eckhart died.
Ugh, this scene was so dumb.
It was all right.
And the way she kept looking at him, like stink-eyeing him.
I get the bit of them, like, when siblings get together, they always act like, decades younger than they actually are with each other. This is true of me and my brother. I'm sure it's true of you and your brother. We regress when we're with our siblings. And I think they do that in all of the scenes that they are together in. Catherine becomes a little extra pouty and Andrew becomes a little extra antagonistic, and it's because they're siblings. So that's the way I interpret it. And they play it up, and I think they play it up well. It's believable to me. I believe that these two are antagonistic siblings. While they poke at the box, Andrew tells Catherine that the Ghostwood project is full steam ahead. Ben Horde had cleared all of the legal hurdles for it before they took it out of his hands. Andrew begins touching random symbols on the lid of the box, which he claims to be entering dates that couldn't possibly be right because all we have on there are phases of the moon and Gemini symbols, not even the entire calendar of them, but nothing that would indicate a day. Eventually he lands on the right combination somehow, and the box opens to reveal another puzzle box.
So Jamesy appears to be a troll. We have our first troll, Gabe.
Oh, that didn't take long.
Jamesy, I'm thinking, what, James Marshall? What is James, the biker dude's name? Is James
Hurley in the show.
James Hurley, that's what he is. He says, "Are you guys in the witness protection program?" No, I don't know why. I think because I'm in a bunker. He thinks I'm in a bunker. And then, does the guy on the right have a separate dressing room for your beard? He's really trolling us, Gabe.
So we've got our first 12-year-old viewer, is what you're telling me?
No, he says, no troll. Just having fun. Keep up the good work. Oh, maybe it's your relative.
I'm sorry, then. Please forgive my comment.
No, it's fine. Whatever.
I'd be happy to delve into the beard routine. It's pretty intense.
It has nothing to do with Twin
Peaks.
Peaks.
If that was a compliment that I misinterpreted, I apologize.
Is it Twin Beards?
It could be.
Hey, all of you listeners, watchers, you're making this episode that sucked really entertaining. So keep it up. We love
I
you.
thought our philosophy discussion did that.
Oh, the book he recommended because it's full of damn good spiritual wisdom is why he recommended it. So
okay,
all right. Thank you, Jamesy.
Well, thanks, Jamesy. We'll take a look at that.
Well, Gabe will take a look at it. I will
reading,
not.
I would recommend a little collection called Zen Flesh, Zen Bone.
Sounds like an Alice in Chains song. Zen Flesh, Zen Bone. Sorry.
I'm not going to forgive you for that one. All right. Andrew decides he's not dicking around with another puzzle box, and he just smashes this one with a rolling pin to reveal another fucking puzzle box. Jesus fucking Christ.
At least he broke it
this one's
time.
Made of metal, though.
Oh, that box. Yes. Sorry.
Yeah, the metal box.
She was really hugging that bar, dude.
Yeah, they seem really impressed by that.
Is this the end of this? Like, did they never come back to this ever?
Oh, no.
Oh, God damn it.
No, we get a resolution to that one.
Oh, okay. She was hugging it and like loving it, and I'm like, no more. They don't come back to it. I was hoping that was it.
No. They pick a pretty creative way to open that one, I'll tell you.
Oh.
At the
magnet?
Roadhouse, I won't divulge anything else.
God damn it. All right.
At the Roadhouse, the crew continues to set up the pageant stage around the evening's activities, which tonight appear to be slow jazz and slow dancing. Annie is seated at the bar when she sees Cooper in the crowd on the dance floor. It takes a little bit of encouragement, but eventually she joins him. She continues to seem a little hesitant and shy at first, but she picks up the basics of dancing pretty quickly. They continue to be awkwardly blunt about their attraction to each other, with Cooper telling her that her body feels nice and Annie telling him that she wants more than his kisses.
Because she's an agent of Wyndham Earl.
Something I took note of here is that this was, I think, really the first convincing emotion we got from Heather Graham, which was horny.
Would go on later to be very...
yeah, she killed it with that speech, didn't she?
Yeah, that was her audition for.
And she's just like staring off into space the whole time. Yeah, not her best work. I have no beef with Heather Graham, but she was green for this one.
Just awkward. Is this like her first thing?
And I know that's kind of the point. I don't think this is her very first thing. I think she might have done other TV before this, but I agree that like Annie and Cooper are both supposed to be awkward people,
right?
Like they are clearly like if they had modern diagnoses, they would probably both be on the spectrum, I would suspect. But that's neither here nor there. It's just they approach life a lot differently than your average person does. And really that's the truth of most people who have a degree of autism.
Most like just like, neither here nor there is exactly like our chat over here. It's like they just talk about things that don't pertain to Twin Peaks, guys. Anyway.
Who?
But everyone. There's
how many people are in the chat right
HP
now?
Prime says Red Bar is watching. Who the fuck is Red Bar? There's I don't know what. Jamesy took your advice. He said thank you for the Zen Flesh, Zen Bone, and then guy on the right reminds me of the guest character Wrongway Feldman on Gilligan's Island. Oops, I meant the guy on the left. Anyway, there's like three people just kind of spouting comments.
Okay,
we have a very active chat.
Our names,
huh?
I'm not offended if anybody wants to refer to me as the bald guy, if that makes it easier for folks.
Well, I've been calling you Gabe.
You have been. I don't know if I've called you
the
Ian
bald
yet,
guy is the Gabe. I am Ian.
The bald guy is the Gabe.
He is the Gabe.
You need to make a graphic to put on my screen.
The Gabe?
With that.
The bald guy is the Gabe?
No, the bald guy is the Gabe.
I'll work on new
and then
graphics.
We have Emmy Weiner. Emmy Weiner.
Emmy Weiner. Yes. Emmy Weiner. Ian. Yes. Yes. That's how it's gonna be. It has been done. It has been
the bald guy is the Gabe, and then we have the Emmy Weiner.
Emmy Weiner. Ian. All right.
Oh, this is a fun episode.
One for the books.
One for the books. And he tells Cooper that she wants more than his kisses. What was his response to this? Such as?
What does that mean?
Such as my penis?
Such as?
But before Annie can elaborate in detail, Mayor Dwayne gets on the microphone to make a speech while he struggles with modern technology, or 30-year-old technology. And he continues, offering a somewhat G-rated explanation that she is fearless around Cooper, including of the things that he makes her feel and the things that he makes her desire. As the two continue to be amused by the mayor's antics, Annie decides that she just might enter the pageant after all, likening the idea to a fairy tale. As Cooper labels her the queen of this tale, suddenly the lights fade, and Cooper has a vision of the giant on the stage, emphatically mouthing the word no and waving his arms in negatory fashion. Does anybody think this pageant thing might be a bad idea? This is the only scene of this episode that I really remember.
Oh, really? Oh.
Yes. I remember watching this one as it aired, and this is all I remember. Is like, because everything is just like the same bullshit. It's just like, these people are in love. These people are in love. This guy's crazy, and he's, taking advantage of the other mean guy. And it was just,
This guy's electrocuting himself on the floor. Yeah, I mean, I get it. Like, what is a kid to like in this episode? Like, really, what do you like? It's like...
Yeah, what does a 13-year-old gravitate toward in this? And, naturally, it was the supernatural shit. The 30 seconds of supernatural shit we got, which was the really giant warning Cooper. One, huh? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Jamesy says, something more relevant. I enjoyed Lynch's film Mulholland Drive. Love the scene where the woman is singing an a cappella Spanish version of Crying, and then she collapses, but her voice continues.
Crying, the Roy Orbison song?
I'm guessing. I haven't seen that movie in a very long time, so I don't remember jack shit.
Hopefully the Roy Orbison song and not the Aerosmith song.
It was in Spanish.
You could translate either of those songs into Spanish.
Crying. I was crying when I met you. Now
see that one,
crying, then I left you. I don't know how that song goes. Kind of. I know kind of how it goes.
You were close. You had the first part right.
Yes, the Roy Orbison song. Yes. Are you watching chat now? Is that what you pull up the little chat on the side?
What?
Oh, he just commented the Roy Orbison song.
No, I just heard you say that.
Oh my god. Okay.
I can't see the chat on my Discord.
I know, but I thought I didn't say it, and you said it before I said it.
No, you actually said that out loud, Ian. You didn't just think it.
Okay.
Night has fallen at the airstrip as Pete has dozed off in his truck. He's awakened by the sound of a jet taking off. He gets out of the truck to get a better view, and Audrey sneaks up behind him, lamenting her lousy luck at love.
She just made love for like 20 hours, and she's upset?
Yeah, but now he's off to Brazil for 20 hours.
Like, I would have just been like, honestly, they should have just left her on the plane and let her take off.
I mean, it seems odd that Jack was in such a hurry to leave up until Audrey boarded his plane saying, "Take my virginity." And now he's got a couple hours to spare.
40 hours later.
Yeah.
Like 2 days later. They just, she should have just gone with him, dude. I don't understand. Like, just get her out of this situation. Take her away.
She's got to be at the pageant, dude.
No, she doesn't.
What can we say?
She doesn't.
But what if she wins? Pete, in kindly dad mode, offers to take her fishing to help her get over her heartache.
What are you drinking, Jamesy?
For that.
What are you drinking, Jamesy? I'm drinking High Life, and Gabe is drinking...
I just finished my Manhattan.
Manhattan. Yeah, Gabe's more cultured than I am. All right, Gabe, sorry. Go, continue.
Very good. Because we all know that the cure for heartache is a trout's leap in the moonlight.
Trout. May I?
More poetic dialogue.
Was it the first season that he did the fly? Like, is that the last time we saw him with fishing line? Was that the first season, or is that the second season? How long ago was that? It feels like yesterday, but also forever ago.
I mean, that's the way I see everything in this series. There are things that I can't place. I mean, we know Pete's a fisherman.
I mean, we saw him with the fishing line, and Josie comes around, and they're talking, and he's...
But yeah, when was the last time we had a physical interaction that emphasized that aspect of his character?
But we know that's part of his character.
But we already know it, yeah. It's something that's been established pretty well. And you know what else has been established? Is that it's always a party at Earl's cabin.
Jesus.
Like now.
A bunch of breakdancing.
Leo arbitrarily screaming with his eyes rolled back into his head.
Just a bunch of people breakdancing on the floor.
Yeah, I guess he's just got the brain pain. I don't know what Leo's problem is. I know what the Major's problem is. He's been drugged, but he's slobbering in a stupor on the floor. We get more extensive monologue exposition from Earl as he explains to us that there's not only a time written into the petroglyph, but directions as well. It's an invitation and a map to the Black Lodge, right? Or the White Lodge. Or heaven or hell.
Or Earth, the Grey Lodge.
Or a place of great evil, or a place of virtue's sour smell.
Our chatters have so much chatting that has nothing to do with this show.
Are they bots?
No. Nice. I had beers last night, but not feeling it today. Your show is making me feel drunk enough. That's a good one. Good one, Jamesy.
Zing.
And Jamesy just wants to get to know us. He just wants to sit down by the firelight and cop a squat and like just get to know us. He asks, how do you guys know each other? What part of the world are you in? Specifics not necessary. How do you decide on the topic? So many questions.
Well, a lot of those questions could be answered by viewing our previous episodes. We might direct you towards those at the end of the show.
Actually, you could just look at the title, Blank as a Fart, a Twin Peaks podcast. So we've been...
well, that's not going to tell them our location.
Oh, it's not going to tell us our location, but it's going to tell you what the podcast is about and the topic. So we watch an episode and then we talk about it. So we're basically...
No need to be snarky with our
Listen,
fans,
I am fucking on the reg right now, and just let it be. Jesus, fuck.
Dude, I'm the one who's been sick for a week. I should be the grouchy one.
Sorry, Jamesy. I didn't mean it. I love you.
Welcome to Costco. I love you.
Like and subscribe.
Tell all your friends.
Anyway,
while Earl cackles into the abyss, we momentarily get a shot of Cooper's stunned face in the spotlight before time resumes back to normal, and Annie kisses him again. The mayor continues to mumble into the mic about how something isn't right as we get the ominous music again underneath several shots of empty locations in the town, the high school, the halls of the Great Northern, the sheriff's station where a phone rings unanswered. I really liked this scene
Yeah,
too.
this is kind of
And I think this
eerie.
kind
This
of,
is kind of has the
yeah,
eerie David Lynch thing.
and this ties a little back to what Jamesy was talking about, where we get some dialogue lingering over like other scenes.
Right.
But yeah, and it's just like there's something not right here as we're looking at the entire town.
There was never anything right here. Is what we're
You know, I
finding
kind of
out.
wonder if this was supposed to be the season 2 finale originally.
Oh, really? Like they're having to
I'm not
cobble together
saying,
some shit?
I'm just kind of wondering. Like, I kind of get the feeling that this is the cliffhanger they would leave you on if they had had a season 3 coming.
Gotcha.
But then these last 2 episodes were just like, okay, we're canceled. Let's wrap it up. I'm not, I don't know at what point in the production schedule they were informed of that decision. So all I do know is that this is the last episode that aired as part of the regular schedule.
Right.
And I can't see them like the way that the finale was written. I don't see that being a season finale. Like that, the last episode was written knowing it was going to be the last episode.
Right. Until it
So
wasn't.
I could, well, but that was decades later.
Right.
So yeah, I can definitely see this being like, especially with this last shot of just like the town in general and like all these areas of the town that we've spent time with where we've seen these people develop. And well, yeah, I could see this being a good cliffhanger leading into a third season if that was the way they planned it.
So Jamesy says, "No, I meant how did you guys come up?" He wants to know. He wants to know more about us. He wants to know how we came up. We kind of talked about this at the beginning. We'll probably, if we let us get through the kind of synopsis of the show, of this episode, and then we can talk about your questions. But he wants to know how we came up with the show. So
Okay,
so let's get through this, and then we'll answer his questions.
sounds good. So where do we go? Blah blah blah. Oh yes, in the forest. The camera eventually comes to rest on a grove of sycamore trees surrounding a small pool with a rocky rim. The music crescendos as a denim-clad arm reaches out from nothingness, illuminated by a harsh light.
My favorite character.
Killer Bob eventually materializes in full and moves in a highly unnatural fashion around the edge of the pool, which is filled with a thick black liquid. In its reflection, a set of swaying red drapes comes into view as a saxophone wails in the background.
And it's sexy time.
Fade to black and roll credits.
Midget porn with blondes. All right. I mean, sorry, I didn't mean midget. I meant little person. Sorry, I did not mean this. I didn't mean anything derogatory by that. I'm drunk. Forgive me.
It's one you're still learning, dude. You're bound to slip.
It's one of those ones, you forget quickly.
It is. You forget.
I think we were, before we started recording, I was talking about this a little bit, and I was like, not going to talk about this right now, but I feel like these last 3 or 4 episodes, they could have crammed into one episode and kind of cut a bunch of stuff out, and we could just like have gotten to this conclusion quicker.
Yeah. I would agree with you 100%.
There's just a lot of filler, and there's some cool scenes in this stuff, but a lot of it's just like, oh my god, inane.
It could have been condensed very easily. Yeah, I mean, I guess I hearken that back to the days of 22 episode seasons. You got to pad that somehow.
Yeah, I get that.
And yeah, it feels very, very stretched and which is weird because there are a lot of characters that we don't see at all this week.
You'd wonder if they wrote this nowadays, if like in an 8 episode season, like would it have been too much? And I'm thinking no. I think we could have done it. I think we could have done it, guys.
I think we could have condensed
Especially
it.
if they're full hour episodes. These are like 47 minutes. So like full hour episodes, eight episodes, we could have done it. Could have been tight. Anyway.
Could have been.
Do you want to get to James's questions, or what do you want to do first?
Real quick, I want to touch on the ratings.
Oh, let's do the ratings.
So for the record, this episode aired on April 18th, 1991.
91.
That was on a Thursday night. This was aired opposite Cheers.
Middle school.
Leading into Sweeps Week, which means it wasn't going to do much business. This is officially the lowest rated episode of the series as far as Nielsen is concerned.
You know what sucks, though? I think it's better. I think it's the best produced episode with nothing to say. You know, it's like it's a really well-produced episode.
It is overall, yeah. It's flashy,
and it has my favorite.
It
looks
like good.
Last episode, I really had nothing to talk about. This one I had actually a few things to talk about. So like, and that cinematic scene in the Double R that I really liked, it makes this one kind of a standout. But it's like the last 3 episodes, you could tell me, and I'm gonna forget all of this. You know?
Right? Yeah. So
the virginity thing,
actual relevance.
You know what, Gabe? I'm not going to forget this episode. My girl loses her virginity, and it has a cinematic. I'm going to know this. I'm going to remember this scene for the rest of my life.
Well, it's a shame this was the one that was watched by the fewest people. The household rating.
I'd watch her losing her virginity.
5.6, which is technically not the lowest. Actually, I take that back. It's not the lowest Nielsen rating. But it is the fewest amount of viewers. So the lowest Nielsen rating it got was 5.1. That was back in mid-February. But this has the fewest amount of viewers at 7.4 million. Also lowest household share of 9%, and it ranked 79th on the week. So this was the last episode that aired in a regularly scheduled spot. The final 2 episodes would air combined as a Sunday night movie of the week on June 10th. So I think this will probably be the last time we go over the ratings. Doesn't seem to have much sense going forward. I will say that the movie of the week.
What are ratings, Gabe? Like, what are they?
Yeah, they're totally meaningless at this point.
What is that?
So yeah, it meant something 30 years ago, but it means very little now. I got the director of this episode all wrong. It was not Caleb Deschanel.
No, Gyllenhaal.
Yes, Stephen Gyllenhaal was the director of this episode. He was the one and done here. I believe he's the father of Maggie and Jake. Can't imagine there are a lot of people in Hollywood.
Certainly hope so, because then it wouldn't be nepotism if he wasn't the father. Like, how could they be in the industry?
Lots
successful?
Of people go into the family business. All kinds of.
It's fine. Yeah, 100%. Like, you know, you have a pizzeria and your dad dies and you take over the pizzeria. Is that nepotism? Sure. Is it just making a living? Yes. Also, yes.
It actually makes no mention
of who he is.
Oh no, he's not.
Oh, he's not. He's a different Gyllenhaal. He's second cousin, uncle, drunken guy. No? All right.
I don't know. If it is, there's nothing about it on his IMDb.
All right. Well, then how do we know each other, Gabe?
How do you and I know each other?
Yeah,
God, do we have to go over this again?
We're friends.
We're friends. We've been friends for
a very long time.
Well over 20 years at this point. The night we met, there's some debate over how that went down, but
much of our relationship is much of debate.
So I can confirm that Stephen Gyllenhaal is the father of Maggie and Jake.
Oh, okay.
Although it doesn't mention it on his IMDb page.
Weird.
It does mention his ex-spouse, who is confirmed as the mother of those two.
All right.
So anyway, yeah, this was his one and done. What else did he do? What were his other projects?
I didn't actually IMDb him this time. Usually I did IMDb the directors, and I didn't do it this time.
I'm there right now, but I'm not on his resume yet. Where did we go here?
Resume. Anyway, Gabe and I are good friends. He's been in a few of my films. I make films, and he's he's been an actor.
We did get into somehow the topic of David Lynch came up at one point, and discussions of a podcast. And Ian has never watched Twin Peaks, and I was a big fan going back from when it aired. So I was all about the idea of watching it with him and getting his take on it from a filmmaker's perspective. And
I've been doing podcasts. I have a couple other podcasts, and he's been pitching me this idea where we watch an episode and talk about it because I've never seen it, and he's like, "Let's do it, and he's been pitching it, and I kept like, kept hemming and hawing, and then finally I was like, "All right, let's do it," and so we started it this past year, right?
Yes, in February.
So we've been doing it. So
right near Twin Peaks Day, I believe.
It's been so enlightening.
All right, so Stephen Gyllenhaal's resume is not terribly impressive.
What?
A lot of TV that went nowhere.
He didn't do like The Wizard 2
no films. No films. Some TV films. Back in the 90s, Homicide, Life on the Street, L.A. Doctors, Wasteland, one episode of Felicity in 2000.
Felicity.
One episode of The Shield. One episode of Everwood. Ooh, 3 episodes of Army Wives.
Oh, Army Wives.
11 episodes of Numbers. 2 episodes of Blue Bloods.
Oh, Tom Selleck.
Yeah.
This guy's he's just, what's wild is that he has success. Maybe maybe his children hate him. Maybe that's why they're not listed on his IMDb because they don't like him.
Oh, here we go. His most recent credit is a film called Uncharitable. Boy.
Available free on Tubi.
Showing how our charitable traditions and prejudices have suffocated the charitable sector and prevented from leading the charge to truly change the world.
Okay.
Ooh, featuring Edward Norton. I bet this isn't pretentious at all.
Pretension. We're pretty pretentious.
All right, there are 2 reviews. This review is 10 out of 10. Best room tone of any doc ever. And this review is 1 out of 10. Misguided.
Best room tone, misguided. Hey, that pretty much sums up this podcast, Gabe.
In a nutshell.
Jamesy says, I've seen several Lynch films, but I've never watched Twin Peaks, but somehow you've drawn me in, so maybe Jamesy's going to watch Twin Peaks. Also, he said he loved Sheryl Lynn Flynn in Boxing Helena, directed by Lynch's daughter, Jennifer.
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen it. Have you seen it, Gabe?
I haven't, no.
And he says thank you. He subscribed. He subscribed to the YouTube channel, and he thanks us for the backstory. We thank you for subscribing.
Hey. Yeah, thanks for becoming part of the team
and hanging out and dealing with our bullshit.
You got a lot of catching up to do before next week, Jamesy.
Good luck. We're in the PNW, Pacific Northwest. We're with all the woke people. So, we're woke.
Whatever that means.
I'm just kidding. We're just regular people. Jesus Christ.
We're just regular, decent people.
He says he'll do his homework. You better. We don't grade on a curve.
Because you're our only student.
Oh, he's in Canada.
Oh, all right.
British Columbia.
BC. Okay. So he's not far from us.
He's even more woke. Technically.
He's even more northwest.
Yeah, yeah. He's even more Canada. God, no. God, no. All right. What else do we have for this?
I'm looking at the IMDb trivia for this episode. There's nothing of importance.
You didn't have any cool trivia?
Writers credits on here went to Peyton and Engels, so writers' room conglomerate. Yeah, I mean, I think we've covered all there really is to cover here. Next week, we get into what's really considered the finale.
Somehow we turn this into almost a 2-hour episode, Gabe.
We had a lot of interesting discussions.
We had a lot of interesting guests.
We did. And we thank you all so much for joining us.
This has been our most chatty. Our move to YouTube, leaving that fucking Twitch behind, and now YouTube was very much more. Look at this. This is great.
Those algorithms, the algorithms are more favorable.
Obviously.
Well, thanks to all our new viewers / listeners. We hope you enjoyed yourselves, and we hope you dig into our back catalog, which is available on the Milkman Pictures YouTube channel, which hopefully you've all subscribed to within the next few minutes or so, along with Jamesy.
Justin. I know Justin was up there earlier, but like he had never been to my fucking channel before, that cocksucker. Yeah, you have.
Yeah. What reason would he have for that?
He's my fucking friend. He has 34 more questions. Do you actually have 34 more questions, or are you just being a dick? Like if you have questions, we'll answer them.
Justin or Jamesy?
Jamesy. Justin passed out from alcohol at this point. Come on, that was at 8:42.
Oh yeah, he's like 2 hours ahead of us.
Yeah, he's gone. But if you have questions, James, you better drop some.
Yeah, because we're going to bed soon.
You are the only one sober.
At least
here.
Uncle Gabe is.
We got to get up and work. We got works in the morning, bro. We got to go work.
We got day jobs.
This podcast don't pay for shit.
It don't pay. Period.
It don't pay. Period. Money in podcasting?
Shit. Not in the Twin Peaks podcast. I'll tell you that. Check out the socials, y'all. On Instagram, that's the most common one. That's blank as a fart. On Facebook, that's blank as a fart. Gmail, blank as a fart pod.gmail.
Write us a fucking dope ass paranoid email about how we're.
Send an email to that account that I never checked.
Write a whole script about my idea that fucking Annie is
Annie is the bad guy
of Wyndham Earl.
Annie,
I want that
Annie
script.
Is Wyndham Earl's daughter.
Yeah, write that. That script is dope. Come on, Lynch. Send that to Lynch. Just let him know that I came up with it. But I just want 10%. Anyway, because I don't want to fucking write it.
No. Nope.
Oh,
so yeah,
he's got a podcast. He has a podcast. Should we plug his podcast too?
Jamesy does.
Yeah. What do you think?
Well, let's see what it's about first.
What is it about? You gave me the title. What's it about?
What's the title?
I don't know if it's football or if it's comic related. It's a variety show.
I can't read the title.
Not football. I know. I'm waiting for what it's about. He says it's a variety show. Like what kind of variety? Like scrotum size, beers, comedy,
improv.
It's probably something about killing people and putting them in bags. Music, history, stories, characters, skits. It's called The Mighty Wolverine.
Ah.
All right. There you go, listeners. We have a person hanging out in chat. He has a podcast. If you guys want to check out a podcast about music history, stories, characters, and skits, check out The Mighty Wolverine. Hopefully it doesn't suck. And
Jesus,
because I haven't heard it yet, so I don't know. I hope it's good.
Mr. Optimism over
I just I don't want it to be some I turn it on and it's just about him killing people, and it's I cut off the leg and put it in a bag and put it in the ground. And
I think we've established that it's not a murder podcast.
It's not a murder. Are we sure, Gabe?
I think it's fair enough to give our fans the benefit of the doubt.
He says there's no killing. So okay, all right. He doesn't kill them, but he does dispose of the bodies. I'm sorry, Jamesy. I'm drunk as fuck. I apologize. I'm sure we'd have a great time and hang out and have a lot of fun. If you're ever down on this side of the United States, have another one. He says. Well, I haven't finished this one yet, but anyway, we got to wrap this up. We got to get out of here.
Thanks for joining us, Jamesy. We're glad to have had you. Thanks for joining us,
bro.
Everyone else, even those people who didn't comment. We'll see you next week for the penultimate episode titled Miss Twin Peaks.
I hope you guys all like the creepy cam too. I liked it. I think it's cool. Cinematic. Gabe doesn't like it.
I don't. We'll discuss.
I don't really care. It's David Lynch. It's
very
Lynchian.
I know you don't care. Thanks again for joining us, everyone. We'll see you next Wednesday.
Y'all.
In the meantime, let a smile be your umbrella.
Oh my God.
Take care. That's my sign off.